What's up, y'all? Welcome to Tabletop Bros. With Age of Sigmar 4.0 and Skaventide officially launching tomorrow, we're only weeks away from the beginning of our new Escalation League, and I've landed on the Orruk Warclans, aka the Kruleboyz, Swamp Skulka Gang. We're going to be starting off with the Spearhead force, learning the new rules for Age of Sigmar 4.0, and building up to a full 2,000 point army. Over the next few weeks, that culminates in a massive free-for-all battle. And while we haven't quite gotten the destruction rules yet, we know it's in the Spearhead, so let's take a look at my existing army. So I've got a really nice Kruleboyz force, painted up to a tabletop standard, have a decent amount of basing done on them so far, and they're at least high enough quality to put on the tabletop, but I do want to add in some additional details, some additional basing, and just kind of take them from a tabletop standard to the next level. The Kruleboyz Spearhead force is a total of 16 models, with a nice blend of infantry chaff, some shooting, a monster killer, and a couple of heroes, including my mounted warlord. But like most people, I'm curious exactly how everything's going to flush out in the new edition, not only rules-wise, but points-wise as well. And Games Workshop recently released the new points for all the armies, so we're jumping over here and take a look at the actual Kruleboyz and just see how many points are in the Spearhead box. So first we have the Killaboss on Great Gnashtoof. He's coming in at 220 points, and he's going to be the warlord for my Spearhead. Then we have a second hero, the Murknob with Belcha-banna. He's coming in at 120 points. He's going to add in a little bit of extra combat support, but is also a buffing character as well. And then next we have the Beast-skewer Killbow, some heavy-hitting shooting firepower at 160 points, specifically designed to take down the big boys. Then the majority of the army is comprised of Gutrippaz, or the main chaff, 10 of those for 170 points. And then flushing out with a little bit more shooting are the Man-skewer Boltboyz, 3 of them at 110 points. So coming in at a total of 780 points is the Kruleboyz Spearhead. Your typical game of Age of Sigmar is going to be about 2,000 points, so it's somewhere in between a third and a half of a full-size army. And while it doesn't feel like you're getting a lot for 780 points, I haven't really done a deep dive into the other factions to see exactly how this flushes out relative to the previous editions, but I'm looking forward to putting these models on the table, playing some Age of Sigmar 4.0, and having some fun. So we haven't gotten a ton of the Kruleboyz rules revealed so far, but for the actual Spearhead, we have the Swamp Skulka Gang, Kruleboyz Wa. This is a once per battle, any combat phase ability. Declare, pick your general and use this ability, then pick another friendly unit wholly within 12 of them to be the target. Effect, your general and the target have the strike first ability. So this is super powerful and is going to be great in smaller games like Spearhead, as the majority of my punch is coming from my war boss on Great Gnashtoof. And my other main combat unit is going to be the Gutrippaz, so I'm going to want to make sure to keep them wholly within 12, because having the two of them strike first, even if my opponent charge, is going to be very powerful, especially in these small games. Especially with a little bit of range power to back them up. So here's a little close-up of my war boss on Great Gnashtoof. I absolutely love this model. He comes from the Dominion set. He's going to be relatively quickly with his mount. He's got a decent amount of attacks himself, and then also the mount's going to add in some nice combat abilities as well. Absolutely love the details and like thematic look of all the Age of Sigmar models, and really looking forward to playing in the fantasy setting. All of my Kruleboyz are painted up currently to like a tabletop standard, but over time I want to add in some additional basing effects, like some bright green swamp juice, and a little bit of extra highlights and details as well. So far, Games Workshop has only showed off the Spearhead War Scroll for the Beast-skewer Killbow, but we can see with a move of 5, health of 5, control of 2, and a 5-up save, it's definitely on the fragile side. But this guy's meant to be kept at a decent little range and is designed to pop off a couple shots at something big. So his ranged weapon is a Beast-skewer Bolts, 24-inch range, 2 attacks, hitting on 4s, which means on average he's only going to get 1 hit per turn, but he wounds on 2s with a rend of 2 and a damage of d6. His ability is crit auto wound, which is nice because if you roll a 6 to hit, I won't have to worry about flubbing the wound roll with a 1. He's not particularly great in melee with his jaggedy blades. With only 2 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounded on 3s, no rend, and damage 1. He does have the crit mortal ability, which will get him around armor saves, but if he's in combat, something went really wrong. But this guy's passive ability is where he really shines. He's got the skewered ability, effect, the damage characteristic of this unit's Beast-skewer Bolts is 6 instead of a d6 if the target is a monster. So in all reality, I'm going to be aiming this bad boy at something big, looking to get one of those shots through, and do that flat 6 damage. Supported by some range fire from the Boltboyz, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the Kruleboyz perform. They've got a nice blend of combat and also shooting. We've got the mounted warlord and the fight's first ability. We've also seen some of the dirty tricks shown off, which I'm not sure how much we're going to get to use in Spearhead, but as the armies progress, these guys can definitely get tricky. So this is the only model out of my Kruleboyz Spearhead that doesn't come from the Dominion box set. I've got him painted up to a decent standard with some of the details picked out, but I'm definitely looking forward to adding in some additional basing effects, some additional highlights, and taking this bad boy to the next level. He's got a ton of character, including his little grots helping him out, but the real help is going to be coming from the Man-skewer Boltboyz. And while they may not be a massive threat in only a squad of 3, as I build up the army and reinforce this squad, or even double reinforce it, even though they don't have a ton of range, their shooting can be quite effective, especially once some of the additional monsters are added in with some nice buffing effects. At least that's how they were in the previous edition. I've also got the Murknob with Belcha-banna, who's a nice buffing character, adds a little bit of extra combat abilities, and in the previous edition had a close range shooting attack of his own. So I don't know about you, but I am super excited for the launch of Skaven Tide and Age of Sigmar 4.0. I'm really looking forward to putting my Age of Sigmar models on the table and playing through another Escalation League. I'm going to be doing a ton of painting and basing tutorials, weekly game recaps, and if we haven't yet, hopefully along the way, TableTop Bros will earn your subscription. So let me know which faction you're excited to be using in the new edition of Age of Sigmar 4.0. Keep your eyes out for Skaven Tide unboxing and lots of upcoming Age of Sigmar content, but the wait is finally over. Time for the greenskins to crawl up out of the swamp, get off the shelf, and take over the mortal realms. But in the meantime, that's it from the TableTop Bros. Later!